Really plug into the unknown and just project and make it happen. And that's really what elevating consciousness is all about. But you first have to know, in a sense, where you are. And in a sense also where you want to be. But not from an ego point of view. From a conscious point of view. There's body, mind, spirit. But we're the only people. We're the only Western people that divide the three. In the East, they don't even know that. It's not in the scriptures. You don't read it in the Upanishads. You don't read it in any of the scriptures that they divide the three. Because really, in a sense, how can you? How can you divide the three? Where's your mind? Can you show it to me? Can you show me your spirit? I can see your physical body. But who are we? And because we're Western, and because 13,000 years ago we started developing the mind and devaluating the heart. And that's when intellectualism took over in this world, and that's the pickle we're in right now. There was a time on this planet Earth that there was no division. There was no division in countries. There was no division in borders. You didn't have to have passports and visas. And everybody lived in a time where everybody had enough food. And good health was part of our lives. And there was not discrimination. The economy was even. People lived together, lived for each other, and not at each other. And then for whatever reason, which will never probably be told or understood deeply, but karmically what the human being had to go through, we started dividing ourselves. Who was the smartest, who was the most educated, who was a man, who was a woman, borders, countries, languages, and then everything became dissected and discriminated upon. And the woman took the back seat for 13,000 years. And the mother was no longer the ruler of the earth. And that's where we are right now. Now, how to get out of this pickle? Because we are in a pickle. We have nuclear warfare possible. We have a large amount, it's not coming to me right now, of children that die every day of no food, of starvation. Sometimes we have as many as 27 wars going on at the same time on planet Earth. And the mothers just said, I've tried so hard to keep you guys glued together. But the energy has created now earthquakes, tsunamis, all kinds of turbulence. And we call it global warming, we call it all this. The scientists are onto it to try to fix it. But yet it's our consciousness, it's our minds that created this whole thing, because the world is created by our minds, by the collectivism of our minds. And that's the law, and that's what it is. So you all sitting here are here because, I don't know why, you may have all different reasons, but you're here collectively really to change the energy on planet Earth, to elevate your consciousness, so that we leave this world in a much better place than how we came into it, for the generations and the children to come. And do you know what? We can reverse it. We can reverse the whole thing, and we can reverse it. Do you know how fast we can reverse it? It's unbelievable if we came together collectively. There's examples of it. For instance, in Washington, D.C., when there was great violence going on and great crime, the TM people went in. It was one year. They went in and they did very, very deep meditation collectively. If something like 5% of the population sits and meditates together, they can change the energy immediately, and they did that. The crime rate went from so high to so low in one summer in Washington, D.C. And there's other instances where that has happened, and where they've allowed things to change because people came collectively and left the mind, like, what about me? I want more. I need to make more money. What about me? What about me? What about me? And what about me? And they went into what about we? And things changed. There was a time that Drumbelow, he went down to the Yucatan in about 2008, I think, 2008. And they had had a great drought. And the indigenous ones asked him for his help. He's a very incredible man who's American, but he's lived so many lifetimes as an indigenous one. And he had taken a group of people down, and he got joined by shamans and elders. And they sat in the middle of this possible drought. They hadn't had rain for so long, which meant they wouldn't have crops, and on and on. And they sat, and they sat together, and they saw a golden light come up around this area. And then they sat, and they were all meditators, and they took it out and out and out and out. They took it in 200 miles out. And they just sat and let it all be golden, which pulls the light in like pure gold. And when they were done, the shaman said, "It is completed because of the collectiveness of the consciousness, and we will have rain before the sun comes up." So they all boarded the buses and went back to their pueblo, or their town that they were staying in. And because they were on a journey and on a quest through Mexico and Peru and Bolivia. And by the time the sun came up, not only was the rain coming, there was lightning and thunder, and the heavens opened, and it rained and rained and rained, and it saved them from the drought. And this happens over and over. You'll hear stories all the time about people that come collectively to shift energy. And those are isolated incidences. Washington, D.C., the Yucatan. When we got to witness, we go to summer solstice in New Mexico, and there's 2,000 people on top of a mountain on Hopi land, and we're praying and doing tantric yoga and doing kundalini yoga and gathering and singing and dancing and doing sadhana. And it's a great celebration. And almost every year we sit under a shelter, 1,500 to 2,000 people doing white tantric yoga. And almost every single time it rains, and then it hails, sometimes balls of hail that big, but not further than actually a small circumference of the shelter. And you walk out beyond it, maybe 50 feet beyond it, it's not raining at all. And I got to witness that almost every year. So we see that we manifest, but we manifest through collective consciousness. And what we're manifesting now is not too fantastic to what we see going on around us. However, what you can do when you come to spirit yoga, you can come with a prayer in your heart. Not just, what about me? I want to get my workout today. I want to get my bones and blah, 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 that we often come from, which is normal and natural. But to add a prayer that let my practice today help serve to heal this world, to uplift this world, and to find a peace and abundance in this world. Because there's plenty of everything. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of every single thing. But it's not distributed very well. But I do feel, and I'm convinced, that it's the yogis that will bring us into the transition, into the Aquarian Age, into the year 2012. I don't know anybody else that can do it better than we. We who do yoga and we who meditate. And we include the Buddhists and other people too, of course. But people who are consciously striving to elevate their consciousness. Because I ask you, who else can help change the world? Who else? It's been disproven. Our governments, our economy, Wall Street, or whatever the equivalent of Wall Street is in Germany, our religions. There's been more wars and more killing in religious reasons than any other reason. So who else can do it? We don't have an argument because we're yogis. No one can argue with you about the breath. I don't like the breath, I don't like your breath. Maybe some people don't like your breath, but I mean, I don't believe in the breath. I think it's just a waste of time. I think it has discrimination. I mean, no one can set an argument against the breath. Am I correct? Now, the one place that we can lose, and I'll tell you, is if you start thinking your yoga is the best. Then we start doing what all the past generations have done through religion. We start discriminating. No, Ashtanga is the best. No, Iyengar is the best. No, Kundalini is the best. No, this is the best. Don't go there. Or we lose what we came to do this lifetime. Honor all lineages, all based on breath. And then we win, and we win all together. And we have that possibility of leaving this earth much, much better. Changing this earth, changing the water content, changing the food content, changing every single thing through our consciousness. So I offer up that every day you come to yoga or have a private practice at home or meditate, that you offer it up to bring that chain and that link of consciousness that then can shift the energy here in Berlin, and then in Germany, and then in Europe, and then all over the world. Because we can do it. Because we're the ones we've been waiting for. That's why this ancient science came back. Why do you think it came back in 1969? No one knew the difference between yoga or yogurt. Honest to God, in America. I never heard of yoga when I was a kid in the 40s. And then the spiritual teachers started trudging to the West to help us out. Through Europe, through America. Because we had gone to sleep in materialism. We had spent so much time fighting. We had been through so many wars. Think about it. The wars that we went through from 1917 or 1914 to 1945-47 was what the world had never seen before. 2 world wars. We were tired, we were weary. And then we turned to materialism. And we really got going on that. And that's where we are now. By, more and more, faster, faster. And we justify it. Well, it's the age of communication. Everyone needs an iPad, an iPod, a keypad, one that goes faster and faster and faster and faster. New breed out. Faster. New year, get a new one. And we go on and on. We sit here. We're at dinner eating with someone and we send a text message. As soon as you get off airplanes, just watch what everyone does. I never saw fingers move so fast in my life.